My name is Rebecca Kern-Lunbery, and I am Ward Laboratories professional animal scientist. And today I'm going to use Ward Laboratory data to try and answer a common producer question. So that question, as you can tell by the image that I have up, is regarding distiller's grain. So often I'm asked, are DDGs decreasing in energy, and why do you think that is? And so there's a couple different things going on here. And so a lot of producers, we love to feed our DDGs. It has great protein, has great bypass protein, has a lot of energy. Oftentimes the minerals are very complementary to what's already in our forages. So we don't have to do a lot of mineral supplementation with them. So we really like feeding, DDGs. They're easy to handle, and, sometimes they're even pelleted for us. We really like that. So there's a lot of great aspects about this, feed, and it comes out of the ethanol industry as a co-product. And, as the ethanol industry has progressed, they're selling different co-products. And so one of those is the condensed distillers solubles, which we refer to as syrup, which, sometimes they're marketing that as an actual liquid feed instead of adding it back or adding less of it back to the dried distillers. So some of my, customers believe possibly there's less sugars in there, less energy. And then the other thing, which I think is the more common perception, is that the ethanol industry has improved their efficiency extracting out the corn oil, which means that there's ultimately less fat in the dried distillers grains. So less fat, less sugars, less energy. So let's take a look and see what our overall average data says. So, and this is data that we compiled from producers as well as from ethanol plants over, several years. So first, looking at the average. So we're looking at the average crude protein per year. So on average, we are seeing an increase from 2015. So basically over the past 7 years to 2021 of about 2% increase in crude protein. And so we know this trend is real. We've got a good p-value. We've got a good R. Then if we look at fiber, if there's less fat and less sugars, which is the theory, then we should have an increase in fiber. And we do. We see about a 1.5% increase in fiber. And again, this is a very strong trend, statistically speaking. Okay, and then finally, the big hypothesis is that they're adding less fat. And absolutely, on average, we are seeing about 1.5% less fat. And again, another very strong, R and P value. So statistically speaking, all of these trends absolutely are real. However, when we're looking at the ranges that we're seeing when we're testing, beyond just looking at the averages, the ranges of the protein and the fiber content and the fat, they really haven't changed. So that likely is going to translate and say that the energy value probably hasn't changed too much over the range, and also gives us a good reasoning why we need to be testing, because even in 2021 last year, our crude protein could be, as low as 28 or as high as, above 35. So that's a huge difference, and so that explains we need to be testing as producers, and ethanol plants, of course, continue testing as well. And then same goes for fat. It can be quite low, looks like as low as 4%, or it can be, almost approaching 12% fat, which is quite high, which is much higher than what, a lot of you are seeing. But, a lot of you are going to be staying in this average range, right around 8% fat. So I hope that clears up some of the confusion. On average, yes, we are seeing these trends. However, do we see this? Can we assume this about each and every sample? Absolutely not. Our ranges tell us otherwise.